What's up, everyone? It's Nick from Team Nitro YGO, and today I'm bringing you a Dogmatika Labrynth deck profile for October of 2025. This is basically a thought concept put to paper. The idea behind this deck is that Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis is incredibly powerful as a way to both... It doesn't bridge the engine necessarily, but the fact that it finds you a trap that can be so versatile in Dogmatika Punishment gives this deck what it was missing, which is the ability to profitably play on your opponent's turn without going minus. So that's what the theory behind this deck was. But anyway, I'm going to go a little bit in depth about the theory and the card choices here. If you just want the deck list, it's right here on the screen. And also I will have the dueling book link in the description if you want to be able to download it. So for the Labyrinth cards, we have 3 Ariana, Stratos. This card also draws cards, which is super nice too. You can dig deep for the power spells and power traps that are game-winning in the matchup. 2 Lady, because this is a more control, stun-oriented build of the deck, we're not trying to furniture on the opponent's turn or establish stuff like Chaos Angel and Muckracker. You just want to have another copy of a boss in your deck in case it does get banished. So the 2nd Lady comes up a lot. Also makes killing them really easy if you put 2 of them into your rotation. 1 Lovely card is the win condition of the deck. This card solos a ton of matchups. The fact that it makes it to where your normal traps cannot be responded to means that it's really hard for your opponent to interact unless they have like an in-engine trap card. Also, this card being removal and resetting the floodgate traps is so broken. So broken. I am playing the field spell in a deck that doesn't really have card advantage. Having a way to get virtual card advantage is nice. And also it is just extra removal. Like having your trap cards be pops in addition to getting monsters from deck is huge. And also it reborns any fiend. So sometimes you just like put Typhon back on the board and in the middle of your opponent's turn they have a Typhon to deal with. So that's pretty cool. And then the 5 welcome traps, 2 welcome, 3 big. I thought about playing the 3rd welcome just because this deck does actually kind of want another engine trap, but I wanted to keep the deck at 40. So, and then we have Call By and Prosby. These cards probably aren't necessary. At least Call By isn't, but this deck has a huge Ash problem. Like Ash and Bell are 2 of the most prominent hand traps in the game right now. Being able to negate those so that your engine resolves is huge because, again, this is a more stun-oriented style of deck. So if your engine doesn't resolve, your card quality just isn't as good compared to your opponent, so you need to make your engine resolve to like maintain parity. And Prosby's just broken. This whole build of the deck was designed to have the extra deck not matter, so you can Prosby for 6 and like dig for the card that matters, which is huge. So moving on to the Dogma cards, 3 Fleur-de-Lis. This card is insane. So for those who don't know what this card does, basically during any main phase, if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck while it's on the field, you can summon Fleur-de-Lis from your hand. When you do that, it sets any Dogmatika trap from the deck, and you can activate it if your opponent has an extra deck monster with 2,500 or more attack. So basically, this card gives you a turn 0 punishment that can search Super Polymerization. By sending Predaplant Chimera Rafflesia during your standby phase, you will get to add Super Poly. So you actually can kind of crack boards with this card in a weird roundabout way. But also, even if you don't do that, you still just get to set punishment from your deck, set a wide variety of removal, card advantage, or just the thing that best sets you up moving forward. Like you can send Garura to draw a card, you can send Chimera to Reborn from Grave, you can send Intis to pop, you can send Bucephalus because it's just big. Like this card fulfills a lot of roles that this deck wanted to do. Like this plays on turn 0 like the Furniture Backjack stuff did, but it doesn't lose to Ash Blossom, which is so huge. And this thing is also big, like it's 2,500. So like you can just plop this thing on the board and then put a Typhon over it as like your first game action. So that's huge as well. And then 1 Ecclesia as another search target. I was kind of torn on what I wanted to do with this slot, to be honest. Thought about playing cards like just other Fleur-de-Lis, because it is also big, but I wanted to be able to send monsters with less attack to the grave, so that way you can profitably send things like the Garura or the Intis. Also, just this randomly not being able to be destroyed by battle from extra deck monsters comes up a tie. I apologize. And also, this is extra punishments, so that way you can convert the extra cards that Fleur-de-Lis is gaining you. But I don't know. I really don't know. This card was probably cuttable. I just don't know what I'd play instead of it. Like I wanted another name so that Nadir Servant was always online, but I just didn't really know if I wanted. Because the problem with Maximus is like there's too many decks right now that can just like send Herald plus something else and like get Engine off of Maximus. Because like I didn't want to go so all in on the Dogmatika cards playing stuff like Winda, Schism, because they just like add bricks to your deck and dilute like the game plan of what this deck wants to do. So I didn't want to do that. And also, if you play all those cards, it means that like you just start losing to the floodgate cards that your deck doesn't lose to. So that's why I sell it on Ecclesia, but I think this card's cuttable. And then 3 Nadir Servant. This card's broken. This card just does it all. This card does everything. Being able to send removal, search the Fleur-de-Lis so that you can drop it immediately, get the punishment, start retroact. Like, this card is both engine and a board break, a half a board breaker, because you can use it, send Intis, search Fleur-de-Lis, go Intis, pop a card, and then you can summon the Fleur-de-Lis, get punishment, send something else. So that's also crazy. And then 2 Dogmatika punishment. I thought about playing 3, but you never want to draw multiples of this card. But with Trap Trick and with the Dogmatika cards, I could easily see playing 3. I could honestly see cutting the Ecclesia and just playing the 3rd punishment. Like, this is one of the best cards in the deck. It just does so much. It does so much. And then for the Labyrinth cards, or I guess like just the Labyrinth trap staples, 3 Trap Trick, 3 Daruma Cannon, and 2 D-Barrier. The only reason I'm even like playing this deck is because this is the best dimensional barrier deck in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You can find it in Engine, and it's repeatable. Lovely will set it every turn. So because so many games of Yu-Gi-Oh! Are being decided by this card right now, I wanted to play a deck that could best abuse Dimensional Barrier. And you can turn 0 with Arias as well. Like, you have so many ways of abusing this card that just auto-wins the game. There's very few matchups where a barrier calling anything doesn't at least minimize your opponent's end board so that you can break it with Labyrinth cards. Like, it's broken. Like, sometimes this card reads, you win the game. And most of the time it does. And the fact that you're going to do it every single turn from the start, wild. Absolutely wild. So that does it for the core engine of the deck. And then for our going second cards, we have 3 Arias. This card can function going first as a way to establish engine, but it's mostly here as a going second piece so that you can Daruma on your opponent's turn, you can Barrier on your opponent's turn, you can Punishment on your opponent's turn, etc. 3 Super Poly. This card's broken right now. It's just one of the best board breakers in the game. I get that it is not a trap card, and that's really what this deck wants, is a trap card. The problem is that all the trap board breakers, well, specifically evenly matched, are just dog shit right now. So you need to play just a better card, and this card does it. And you have a ton of extra cards in this deck to pitch to Super Poly. You have extra draws off of Punishment. You have Fenrir that can pitch. You have the extra engine that you can pitch. You can pitch extra Nadirs. Believe it or not, there is no cost to this card, really. It's basically just wipe 2 things off your opponent's board, make a guy, and then make SP. And, you start, and you put up a bunch of removal. Which, I know it seems contradictory in the deck that, wants to extra deck lock itself a bunch. But you're mostly extra deck locking yourself for 1 turn. The only card that does it for 2 turns is Dogmatika Punishment. But if you do it on your opponent's turn, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, this card is nuts. This card is nutter butters. And then 3 Dominus Impulse is just the best trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no reason not to play this card in your deck. There basically is no anti-synergy between the Dogma cards and Impulse. You're always just going to use the Dogma cards first. So yeah, there's that. So 40 cards in the main. Again, I really wanted to keep this deck at 40. Wanted to maximize my chance of drawing Fleur-de-Lis going second and finding Super Poly. Those are just the 2 best cards in the deck for when you go second. And also maximizing your chance to find D-Barrier. It's also huge. So onto the extra deck, we have the Garura, the Mud Dragon, Chimera, Intis. I actually probably should play 2 Intis the more I think about it. There's just so many games where you want to send a second Intis. Probably should cut the 3rd Typhon or the 2nd SP for the 2nd Intis. I'll probably do that when I do some more testing with this deck. Chimera Rafflesia, this is how you're searching Super Poly, because in the next standby phase after it goes to grave, it searches a Polymerization spell card. That's what this is. Secretarion as a Super Poly target for Dracotail. That's what the Mud Dragon and Garura are here for. You don't really need any of the other ones. They're just not that necessary. The nice thing about these ones is that they're both flexible, or at least Garura is flexible as both Ascend and a Super Poly target, so you could even consider playing 2 Garura as well. Mailong, this card is cuttable, but I wanted non-destruction-based removal out of the extra. Packbit, very similar to Mailong, but this card also requires a discard, so it's kind of tough when you're pitching cards for Super Poly, you're pitching cards to Murakumo. Having to pitch a card to this can be tough sometimes. And then 3 Typhon, this card's just broken going second. There are games where you make 3 Typhons because you're just going through them back and forth and back and forth. So that's why I put... This is the only card in the extra deck that even matters. So, but again, you could probably get away with cutting 2 to play a second Intis. 2 SP. This is mostly here as a concession for Super Poly because you want to do things like Super Poly your opponent's board away, make a guy, normal Ariana or summon Lady, make SP. SP is now a removal spell and you plus off the Garura. Dark, because of Mitsurugi being around everywhere, this card is just mandatory. And then Bucephalus is a big punishment send. It can send Garura or Chimera. But again, this extra deck is pretty flexible. I think there's like a lot of things that you could do with it. Again, if you wanted to play the Shaddoll package, you definitely could. You could also just like play a Chaos Angel, even though it's not that easy to summon because this is a 6 and this is a 4. So it's kind of whatever. I don't think, like, really the only things that are set in stone is like the Garura, the Intis, and like the Typhon's SP, and then everything else is like kind of whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then for the side deck, this is kind of... This is the most untested part of the side deck for sure, but this is more so just trying to shore up the weaknesses of the Dogma cards, because this package is only really good into like the Draco. Like, these cards are really good when Punishment is a turn-ending removal spell for you. The problem is that a lot of the top decks right now, that's not true. So like Yummy can play through a turn 0 Punishment, Draco Tail can, or Mitsurugi can play through a turn 0 Punishment. Even like K9 can play through a turn 0 Punishment. So it's just really, really hard for this card to be like a true breaker. So I wanted to side deck cards that were good going first and going second. So that's where the Fenrir's come in. This card has been insane for me. Like, just, this card's really good into Yummy, and it's pretty good into Mitsu as well, just because these cards aren't as good into Mitsu. So I wanted to have cards that were like flexible no matter what. 3-4 for when we go second. So even though this deck isn't drawing into like Furniture, Nibiru, or Imperms, or stuff like that, you're still drawing into Super Poly, Lava Golem, Fenrir, Arius. Like, you're still drawing into super high impact cards when you go second. So there's no reason to not play Fua. 3 Fenrir, like we already talked about. 3 Golem, this is just one of the best breakers right now. Just being able to tribute over your opponent's 2 most important things, like get the Herald and the Murakumo off the board, and then you can Super Poly the rest of it away so that you only have to deal with prayers. It's a level 8 Fiend, so it's got synergy there. You can like Big Welcome and bounce it and then do it again. There's a lot of value in this card. And going second, you don't need your normal. You're like specialing off Fenrir, specialing off this, specialing off this. Like the normal doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then for the going first cards, we have the 2 Lord of the Heavenly Prison, Solemn Judgment. These are kind of like the protect the back row cards, because Lightning Storm and Duster are picking up popularity in side decks, and this deck kind of folds to 1 Duster. And the nice thing about Lord is that you can bridge it into Engine. Either you can go get Trap Trick or Labyrinth cards, or you can go get Nadir Servant. Like, you can set Nadir and then Nadir on the following up turn to go get Fleur-de-Lis, so that's huge. And then 2 different Dimension Ground. This card is here as mostly a concession to Draco Tail. This card just FTKs them next to Barrier. Like, basically, the beauty of this deck, as dumb as it is, you just pick the Floodgate Trap that is insane against your opponent. So against Yummy, it's Daruma Cannon and Punishment. Against Mitsurugi, it's Dimensional Barrier and Impulse. And against Draco Tail, it's Barrier and Impulse. Against Lunalight, it's Daruma Cannon and Barrier. Like, you've based on the matchup, you figure out what cards matter the most, and then you just start looping them over and over and over again. And then post side, DDG is one of those cards. Like, Draco Tail has a really hard time beating this card. The Fire King deck has a really hard time beating this card. Even Mitsurugi. It's not perfect against Mitsu because all their stuff still triggers, but you do deny them like a lot of follow-up, like a lot of follow-up. So that's why the DDG is there. And then the anti-spell as well. Again, it stops Storm, it stops Duster, and some engines are like super spell-based, so you just FTK them as well. So that does it for the deck profile. Like I said, it's really just, I think that Fleur-de-Lis is a very underexplored card in Labyrinth, and I really wanted to see if this card had legs. I am fairly confident that this is by far not the best way to build this deck, or even if this is the best way to build it, this exact configuration. Like, there's so many things that I'm unsure about, but I wanted to just put my theory to practice and go from there. So again, as always, the DB link is in the description, and if you have any suggestions to how to make this deck better, what you've been having success with, please let me know. I love Labyrinth as a deck. I really want this deck to continue to be playable. So anything that will make this remotely even more viable, I'm here for. And I don't think there's anything else I wanted to add on. So, as always, my Facebook and my Twitter are going to be in the description, so go follow me, go friend me. I'm going to post some cool stuff, updates about tournaments, etc. And we'll wrap it up here. So my name is Nick from Team Nitro YGO. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.